The time is approximately 7 p.m. and February 25th, 2021. Farragut Mayor meeting tonight will be operating on Governor Lee's current executive order number 71, which will remain in effect until 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time on February 27th, 2021, which at that time will expire. In accordance with the executive order, it should be noted that we're operating in compliance with PCA Section 4-5-312D by providing real-time live audio-video access on Charter Channel 193 and TDS Channel 3. It is also available on the Farragut YouTube channel. Live access to the virtual meeting is made available through streaming. It will be recorded and can be viewed later when posted on the Farragut YouTube channel. During this period of time, all Farragut citizen agenda or forum comments and questions, along with a name and address, to be mailed to comments@townoffarragut.org and should have been received by 12 p.m. comments or 12 p.m. the day prior to the meeting in order to be included in the record of that night's meeting. All Farragut Board and Mayor and Alderman meetings will be public notice per Tennessee state law. Our board meetings are also in compliance with TCA Section 8-44-103 with public notice of our posted agenda prior to each meeting. Pursuant to Governor Lee's executive order, all votes taken tonight will be by roll call vote. Per the executive order, I ask that each member speaking to please identify themselves to permit the public to ascertain the identity of the person speaking. I'll now ask the town recorder to please take an attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett here.
Mayor.
Alderman Meyer here.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk here.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin here.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams here. For the record, we ask that all media representatives please respond as well when requested. So do we have any from the press, shopper, or any other? Please identify yourself.
This is Michelle Hollenhead. I'm with the Farragut Press.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Do we have any agenda amendments tonight, Allison?
No, sir.
None? Okay, now I ask for a motion, please.
Move to approve. Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Pavlin second.
Okay. Okay, I ask the town recorder now to take a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the February 25th, 2021 agenda has been approved. Okay, approval of minutes. I ask for a motion to approve the February 11th, 2021 minutes, please.
Alderman Pavlin move to approve.
Alderman Meyer, second.
Yeah, I ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that February 11th, 2021 minutes have been approved and will be recorded as official minutes of that meeting. Okay, on the mayor's report, I'll again urge everyone to stay with physical distancing and face covering when they're around each other. I also urge everyone to please go to the Tennessee State website and register so you can get your vaccine if you're old enough. The board, mayor, and alderman places a very high value on our great staff and volunteer committee members, as well as our Farragut residents. With the COVID protocol in place, we have learned from experience that we still need to continue with the very thorough sanitizing measures. We're very thankful that Governor Lee has again extended his executive order for virtual meetings for everyone's safety. At this point, I'll now yield the floor to the vice mayor for her report.
I have no report tonight, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other aldermen have anything to report? Okay, if none, we'll move on to tonight's agenda items. We have 4 business items to start with tonight. The first one is approval of 2021 Forget Me Not 5K.
Yes, sir. This event packet is very similar to the event they've had in the past here in the town of Farragut. And the difference this year is the route. It's going to go through Village Green. As you can see on your screen, it is on there. And all their documentation is in order, and representatives from the event are on the line tonight.
I'm going to move to approve. This is Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Meyer, second.
Okay, discussion. We'll start with Alderman Meyer.
Pass.
Alderman Burnett.
Pass here, Mayor.
Okay, Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, I pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Vice Mayor Pavlin, I have no questions.
No questions. I have none either. Does the applicant wish to speak?
I think we're good if you guys are good.
Okay, if she does not want to speak, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Somebody having some
Alderman Burnett,
technical
yes.
difficulties.
Alderman Meyer. Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes. Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the end has been approved. Thank you. Okay, next will be approval of contract with Madden Media for Visit Farragut website development.
This is Sue Stool, Parks and Recreation Director, and I'm going to start this tonight, and then I'll hand it over to Karen and our partners for more explanation. Last summer, the town of Farragut staff put out a request for qualifications for help with our tourism and public relations programs for the next 3-year period. And within some of the discussions that we've had with other consultants, with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, with the Tourism Committee and others, we realized that one of the first projects was probably going to need to be changing our website. And as I would say, growing up a little bit, we started the present Visit Farragut website quite a few years ago. It is a very basic website, Wix website. And again, I'll let Karen go into the differences of the new website. But during the RFQ process, we put together a committee of staff and a member from the Tourism and Visitors Advisory Council. We reviewed all the applications or the qualifications that came in, narrowed it down to 5, then narrowed it down to 2 for the express purpose of this contract. And we are recommending Madden Media tonight. I'll now turn it over to Karen to further explain this project and this contract.
This is Karen Tyndall, Tourism Coordinator with the town. Thanks, Sue. Hopefully you all can hear me. So as Sue described, we had put out the RFQ and had gone through the lengthy process of going through all the great proposals that we received. Mad Media was the top pick for many reasons that I'll go into tonight. And we do have TJ Fletcher and Sarah Hupp on the line with us tonight, and they can answer technical questions that you may have. But Mad Media, TJ is a UT Knoxville graduate, and so he's very familiar with the area. He has family in Tennessee, so he really understands that Farragut is, he understands where we fit in the Knoxville and East Tennessee region, and Mad Media is a tourism company, so they're not a website development company. They do everything in the tourism vertical. So that's important too, because as you know, as the tourism program grows, there may be other needs that we have. So that was definitely one of the factors in making Madden Media the top choice. But specifically for the website, like Sue said, our website started with a Wix platform. It was intended to be very inexpensive and just give us a start in our tourism program. And we found many limitations to it. A lot of those came about during this past year when we were experiencing COVID, and we were partnering frequently with Visit Knoxville, and unable to do some things with our website. It's not user friendly or mobile friendly. So, you know, the important things that we're looking for in improving our website and sort of, as Sue said, growing up our tourism program, is we need to make sure that our content is improved and representative of our area. The navigation, if you're on a website and you can't navigate, can't find what you're looking for, you're going to close it. We don't have search capacity on our website currently. Call to action, that's been difficult to do because our current website doesn't allow us to collect any data. So, we can't collect email addresses and send people information on Farragut, from their email address. Those type of things have been very limiting. Most of the information that we needed to put on the website had to go in PDF format. That's not readable by the search engines. So when somebody goes to search for Farragut, we're not ranking anywhere in the search engines. So the Wix platform is just very limited. The Madden Media offers the WordPress platform, which is going to allow the website to grow over time. We recognize that this is a big step for the tourism program, and but I believe it's a needed step. Today, I was on the Tennessee Hospitality Blizzard conference call, and they said the number one thing for every every DMO is to have a website that's mobile friendly and visitor friendly and local friendly. So I believe Madden gives us that opportunity to grow our website and grow our tourism program. So TJ, he is the Destination Strategy Director for Madden, and Sarah Hupp is on the call as well. She's the VP of Account Strategy. So if you have particular questions about the website development or what Madden can offer, they are happy to answer those for you tonight.
This is Alderman Pavlin. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the contract with Madden for $37,400 for website development and $2,600 for post-launch hosting and maintenance, for a total of $40,000 as proposed in the attached scope of work.
This is Alderman Pinchot. I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we'll go ahead and start with discussion. Alderman Pinchot, you want to do the?
Yeah, I will start. First, I want to make an observation and a comment. I know we've been waiting about 6 months to get the results of this RFQ, and we missed the January meeting, the Tourism January Committee meeting, and I just feel bad that this was not presented to the full committee before it came to the board. So I think in the future we need to try to run these things from the subcommittee to the committee and then to the board for approval. So I hope at the next tourism committee meeting that this information is going to be covered in depth, as it is going to be with us. My first thought is the phase one information is here, and that's what we're voting on today. The impression that phase two, the dollars that are going to be spent on that is going to come at a later date. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be correct.
Yes, that we are not bound to that. That is for future consideration down the road. It is not part of this initial contract.
Okay. And from what I understand, instead of doing a lot of new research, then we're going to be able to use the research we have collected over the past 5-6 years or so.
Yes, that was one of the big things that set Madden apart. Many of the other consultants wanted to basically start at ground zero again, and we felt like we had a lot of good research. It's not perfect, and I'm sure Madden will be looking at lots of things as we go through this process, but we didn't want to spend the precious dollars we have redoing research to get going. And we know that the website is key to pretty much everything this tourism program wants to do and how we want to grow it in the future. And until we have the website in place, that's a difficult thing to do.
In reading through some of the material here, the bullet points and so forth, it's a little confusing. They use their own jargon and some language that I'm not familiar with. So I'm anxious to see a little bit more detail about this first phase. Is there a simple way to just highlight what to expect in the phase one? I see information, but can someone boil that down to exactly what we're trying to do quickly and easily?
Karen, do you think we need to let the Madden people give us a presentation on their end, and I think that may help all of us.
I believe TJ is on the line.
Hey, Sarah's here as well. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Happy to do a screen share or anything like that if that's helpful, but to give you just a foundational flow for what really goes into the plan, the first stages are to really develop the site on WordPress. That's going to allow it to have the foundation moving forward so that everything is mobile friendly, so that all of the content will be discoverable by search engines. So really getting the site redeveloped on that new platform is going to be the first stage. From there, we start to build out the new designed elements across the website. We develop the new content for the website, and also really to make sure that you have a good system in place so that we can learn from user insights and get Google Analytics in there so that that can kind of serve the more long term for the user analytics that you're missing right now. So those are going to be the very first stages as we head into this, is to really get the site in a new place and in a much better place, and redeveloping it for WordPress first and foremost, so that it's SEO friendly, so that it can be discovered by search engines, and so that it's mobile friendly, so it can really be discovered by visitors, and it's content friendly, so that people can really start to plan their trips and start to see what all the different things are that they can do in Farragut to extend their trip as well. So it really hits all of those different functions. So that's phase one. And TJ, feel free to jump in if your audio is stable and okay. I know we were kind of cutting out there a little bit for a second.
Yeah, just as Sarah said, essentially phase one is the completion of that website. Anything beyond that would be in phase two, which is not bound to this specific contract. That would be any additional marketing support, any additional content creation, things like that. So really phase one is getting that new website up and running.
Thank you for that. That helps me a lot. I appreciate those comments. It's sometimes a little difficult reading through some of these points when they're using your language and not necessarily language we're familiar with. So thank you. I appreciate it. That's all I have.
Absolutely.
Sure thing.
Okay, let's move on to Alderman Burnett.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I don't have any additional questions, but echo the emphasis on the website. It's got to be the foundation of the next steps forward. It's what everything goes by, from phones to computers. You know, I think times have passed for looking at certain billboards and, in my opinion, even welcome stations. Now it's all about your website. So if that's not good, you're probably not going much deeper in the community. So all thumbs up here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Pavel.
Sorry, yes. First things, of course, as this is what I've been harping on for a while, that this was the first place we needed to go, was make sure that we had a website that worked, that it was mobile friendly, because that's where people are going to be looking for us. So certainly in support of that. But I'm looking at our the support going forward after we get the initial website built. It looks like website support and the initial phase 1 takes us through December. But if we want to move into planning ahead, which is phase 2, they've given us, I guess, a list of costs. If you total it all up, that's $62,000 going forward. I assume that's, well, SEO is only for 6 hours per month. Is that for a year where it says SEO?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay, for phase 2. I know from personal experience when we're a small business and search engine optimization, they're always changing that. I forget what they call them. They're not their analytics, but the way that you figure it out and then they change it, so you got to refigure it all out. So I know that's something that we kind of have to stay on top of if we want to stay at the top of a search list. So that's, I guess, my concern going forward is, yes, the initial cost makes sense to me, but as a tourism board and certainly as a board, we're going to have to understand that this can be very costly to support. It depends upon how much more we want to put into it once we get it up and going. So those were my only comments, not really questions.
Okay, thank you. Next will be Alderman Meyer.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. Couple questions. So will the tourism website be linked to the town website? So if somebody is on the town website, will there be some kind of flash or button or something that says, hey, if you want to learn more about tourism in Farragut, click here? That's to Sue or Karen or anybody.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yes, and we have that right now. There's a button, that's a Visit Farragut button, that will stay the same.
Okay, so gotcha. And this might be for, I guess, TJ or Sue. So what does the term mobile friendly mean? Keep in mind, I'm not a millennial, so there might be something I'm missing, but I'm just curious.
Sure. So mobile friendly approach really is just looking at the traffic of where the users are coming from. Most people are searching on mobile and tablets now. So it's really making sure that your page is optimized to what size of cell phone you're looking at or what size tablet you're looking at, making sure that everything is aligned properly and making sure that, really all of your features and your technology is working on a mobile platform as well as the desktop.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. That helps. And then last question for Sue. So, and I'm probably thinking along the lines of the Vice Mayor, but once we get the website up and going, there is obviously going to be some kind of cost, which we knew was going to happen. What resources do we have currently within the town to host and maintain the website?
So just as the town website is hosted by someone that we pay, this would be the same same thing. So the important thing to know about WordPress is that it's fairly universal across a lot of places, and especially in tourism. Almost everyone that we interviewed used WordPress as their basis. So not that I'm going to throw TJ and Sarah under the rug later, but in case if we don't like them down the road, it's easy to change. So that's not a problem. So every website will have some kind of hosting costs, and just like the town does now, this will come with it. How we want to grow it in the future and who we want to do that will be a point of discussion. Our biggest challenge right now is that we have basically 2 part-time people that for this whole program, with a little help from Wendy and myself on occasion, and right now we don't have one of those people. Carissa has resigned, and so it'll probably take another month or so before that position can be filled. So with a very small staff, we're really going to have to go out to consultants, just like we do in engineering and community development and everything else. So.
Sure, thank you. And I'm sure that we will always like TJ So I just, in case TJ like wins the lotto and takes off and wants to do another career, I was just trying to figure out what options we have. And it sounds like WordPress is really the answer to it because it's a universal language and we would have other folks be able to pick up on that language if TJ wins the lotto. Okay. No more questions. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I first want to thank Karen and Sue's staff for what they've accomplished. Even with COVID-related issues, they were still able to make Farragut shine. And based on their performance, I do think they deserve the support it takes to take the much-needed next step. So at that, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show the contract has been approved.
Thank you very much.
And next will be approval of memorandum agreement with Knox County Planning Commission for development of planning reports along Interstate 4075 in West Knox County.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
This item is a memorandum of agreement with Knox County Planning Commission for development of a traffic planning study for the interchanges on I-40 in deep West Knox County. As you know, we have always identified the Campbell Station Road interchange at I-40 as a major priority for the town. The reconstruction really needs to happen. There are a lot of deficiencies there. We've managed to keep that project on the radar at the TPO for a lot of years. Unfortunately, we've not had a tremendous amount of success with TDOT. TDOT recently completed a corridor study of all of Interstate 40 throughout the state. Now, that's a corridor study like that it's like a view from 20,000 feet. They identify deficiencies, but they don't really offer alternatives or options or ideas. They just say, this isn't working well here. In conversations I've had with Jeff Welch at TPO and Jim Snowden at Knox County, we want to piggyback on the study that TDOT has completed with their consultant, WSP, out of Nashville. We want to piggyback on that study and have them take a closer look at the I-40-75 split, the Watt Road interchange, and the Campbell Station Road interchange. All three of those throughout that corridor need improvements. Jeff Welch has requested $196,000 in TPO planning dollars. The state, TDOT, has agreed to contribute $49,000, and they are asking that Town of Farragut and Knox County each contribute $25,000. So I feel like the idea here is that we all have some skin in the game. It does present a united front. I think that's it will go a long way in justifying work that needs to happen, needs to be part of the Improve Act, needs to be, we need to be able to tap any of the funding resources that come available. One thing that I want to see for our participation is a benefit cost analysis for the Campbell Station Road interchange. That is a major portion of any build grant that we turn in. So all that being said, staff recommends approval of this memorandum of agreement as presented.
Okay, thank you, Darrell.
Alderman Pavlin, I'll move to approve.
Alderman Burnett, I'll second.
Okay, thank you. I guess now we can ask for discussion and some questions for Darrell. We'll start out with Vice Mayor Pavlin, and please turn up your sound, Louise. It's hard to hear you.
Sorry, let me try that. that better? Can you hear me better, or does it matter?
Oh, it's about the same.
Well, I've got the internal speaker on. Is it better if I'm closer? Okay,
Yes.
sorry. I just my face gets bigger in the picture too, so all right. Daryl, I appreciate that. I was wondering why we were doing a cost benefit analysis. That was my question. So that is part of, if we apply for a build grant, they require a cost benefit analysis then.
That is correct. In fact, that was when we applied for one a couple of years ago. The auditor let us know that was probably the biggest missing ingredient. The fact is, though, it does take quite a bit of effort, and we were not prepared to do that when we were preparing the build grant, so it just really wasn't included.
Okay, so I know that we have a preliminary thought of doing a diverging, I forget what the diverging diamond, is that what it's called?
A diverging diamond, yes, that's correct. That is one option, and this study that will be completed, we want to see just planning level options. They may want to show where loops would fall. They're not going to. It's not going to be like a set of plans or anything like that. It'll be like a magic marker type plan. We want to see how things would operate with a better design. Diverging diamonds are fantastic for what they are. If you are very limited on space, the issue we have at Campbell Station Road is you just can't get enough lanes under that bridge. So Campbell Station itself, the interchange operates great, but Campbell Station fails underneath it. So would a diverging diamond be perfect? Not perfect, but it would certainly be a great improvement. I would prefer to see a full build-up, though, full reconstruction.
So let me ask you this: does cost-benefit analysis, does it also include? I mean, do you have to decide on the design and do the cost-benefit analysis based on that design?
I think we would want recommendation for a design, a layout, and that would come with a cost analysis. Then they would have to look at the improved operation of the interchange, the reduced time through the interchange for motorists. And I guess you just apply that over a number of factors and come up with a cost benefit. That makes sense. A benefit in dollars.
Okay, so so we're gonna ask whoever is doing this report to give us a recommendation on what they think is the most effective design.
That's correct.
Go from there. Okay, that's those were all my questions.
Okay. Next, let's go with Alderman Meyer.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. The only question I have is, will we get a cost benefit analysis of improvements on Yacht Road also, or is it just going to be the Campbell Station and interchange? The 25,000.
That will only be for the Campbell Station interchange.
Okay. And then just out of curiosity, what was that called? The diverging diamond?
A diverging diamond?
Yeah.
It's a pretty unique layout. If you're familiar with 66, the Sevierville exit at I-40, that's a diverging diamond.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Takes all left turns out of the equation.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's no more questions.
Scott, just for your edification, the one that was proposed for under the bridge for Campbell Station interchange is a lot smaller than the one at 66. So
okay, well, I appreciate that, because I wondered, what was going to happen, because Campbell Station Road is still not going to be able to absorb as much traffic. So okay, gotcha.
That design was basically you open up that underneath the bridge a little bit more to include a couple more lanes, and the divergent diamond allows you to fit those extra lanes in there without a very costly project. So,
Gotcha.
all things considered.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Pinchot.
This is Alderman Pinchot. My answers have been, I'm sorry, my questions have been answered by the previous speaker, so I have no further questions.
Okay, Alderman Burnett.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. So this includes 3 interchanges. A couple questions inside that. One, is it address, when this comes later to go for a grant, is it all 3 or none? I would assume the answer is no, but is that correct?
No, they would not necessarily be combined. We want TDOT to be aware of everything that needs to happen in all 3 interchanges, but we want to be able to push the Campbell Station Road interchange. In my mind, that's the biggest issue among the 3, and TDOT likes to do these one at a time if they can.
And that was kind of my second question. Will they tell us which is the worst? Which is the one that needs addressing first, second, and third?
I would hope that would be part of the report. Yes, they want to look at, we want them to look at possible growth patterns, things that are going on at Watt Road and Campbell Station. We have Topgolf coming in. There's a lot of activity, a lot more traffic coming. And we just want to make sure this is on TDOT's radar as that comes about.
Yeah, and you brought up my third question, which was, do they take into consideration the future development coming that will further stress Campbell Station and the entertainment corridor? And I think you just said yes.
Right. I think the attached scope of services, they talk about the fact that we will provide any studies that we have. We have quite a few studies, traffic impact studies, the analysis we did with the possibility of the Parkside Outlet Drive connector across the interstate. There was a lot of traffic study going on with that. I want to provide them with all that information and let them come up with their own ideas.
Okay, that's all my questions.
Okay, thank you. Most of mine's been answered, but we discussed this project at yesterday's TPO executive meeting on the importance of this study, not only for Farragut and Knox County, but for the overall traffic management for the area, which when you go all the way to the split there, it's in Loudoun County, and all the way back, you kind of really pick up the what needs to happen because of the short distance you have between Watt Road and the split. That's one issue. The issue we have, of course, is the volume of traffic, and that the importance that our interchange has for not only Farragut but also for Hardin Valley. So I think we've got some pretty good reasoning, and then of course with the entertainment zone stretching from Level to North Watt Road, possibly, if that happens down there, then it'll be important to start looking ahead now for justification of funding as soon as possible. With that, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the agreement has been unanimously approved. Okay, next will be Resolution R21-03, a resolution to accept public streets and street names located within the town of Farragut.
Good evening. This is Mark Shipley. I'll be presenting this item for you. Just to give you a little bit of background on this, because it's something that doesn't really come to you very often. Needs to come to you more often than it has been, but we'll deal with that in the future. But basically, the way street construction and acceptance is handled You have somebody's interested in developing property. I'm just going to give you a little background on this. The developer has his design team. They prepare what's called a preliminary plat, and that's basically your construction plans for the public improvements, the streets, pedestrian facilities, stormwater, those kind of things. And then that gets approved by the planning commission. They go out and start building the public improvements in accordance with the preliminary plat. And then when those are finished, the staff inspects those, and the applicant files for a final plat that goes to the planning commission, which basically, when approved by the planning commission, then it becomes recorded at the Knox County Register of Deeds office, and then they're able to start selling lots and building houses in the development. In accordance with the state law, basically the approval of plats and recording of plats does not constitute acceptance of public streets. Those actually have to be presented to, in this case, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, because you all are the representatives of public and the owners, really, of public property in Farragut. And so that's provided for in the Tennessee Code Annotated. So the street acceptance list is something that is presented periodically to the board. It includes, and what's included in Resolution 2103 is a list of all the public streets. The ones that were in black were the ones that have already been accepted under previous resolutions to previous boards. Then there was new street sections in red, either new streets or new street sections that are proposed to be accepted at this time that haven't been formally accepted. They have been inspected by the staff, and they are in a physical condition to be accepted. Now, the frequency within which these street acceptance lists comes before legislative bodies is really development driven. If you don't have a lot of development going on, you don't have a lot of new streets being constructed. Of course, in the town, we have a lot of development going on, and so we, have new streets that come up and need to be presented for acceptance, and that's what's reflected in Resolution 21-03. The staff has looked at the new streets proposed for acceptance. We're comfortable that they're in a physical condition to be accepted. Many of these have, been there for a while, been maintained by the town to some degree, some of them. And we're also comfortable that the names that are included in the list do reflect what is on the plat of record. So with that, the Community Development Director, myself, and Town Engineer Darrell Smith, we recommend approval of Resolution 21-03. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Alderman Pavlin, move to approve.
Alderman Pinchuk, I second.
Okay, thank you. We'll start with discussion or questions from Mark. Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any questions at this time.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin.
I have just a real quick question, Mark. I know that there's a time when a public road is opened, a road is opened in a neighborhood, and it's still under I forget what we don't call it warranty, but it's under that 2-year where if there's any maintenance. So I assume all of these roads are out of that 2-year.
That's right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. And that's something else, just to let the other board members know that aren't on the planning commission. But before we sign off on the final plat that allows the lots to be sold, we typically require a 2-year maintenance letter of credit to cover public improvements that the town will ultimately be accepting, including the streets. So before 2 years from that time, we'll go out, you know, maybe a month before the expiration of the letter, and it's usually in the form of a letter of credit. We'll check the physical improvements that we're, you know, asked to release the letter of credit for, and if they're in good condition, we'll authorize releasing the letter of credit. But then again, as I mentioned earlier, that still doesn't legally constitute acceptance of the public streets. So that's why, again, this is before you. You know, depending again on how much development we have, we plan to try to bring this to you all, you know, on an annual basis, unless we really don't have a lot of development going on and it really wouldn't be necessary. And that way it's a little more frequent when this list is presented to you. But you're right. There's some roads right now that are basically finished, but they're still under the 2-year maintenance letter of credit term, so they're not on this list for acceptance yet.
Thank you. That's all I had. I appreciate the clarity.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Pinchot?
Alderman Pinchot, I pass.
Okay, all the questions have been answered for me as well. And with that, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that resolution R21-03 has been approved. The next will be ordinances. We have 2 ordinances to review with public hearing tonight. And we'll start with the one that is a second reading, and that is ordinance 21-04. An ordinance to rezone the property situated around the eastern section of McPhee Road and Board Station Road, parcels 50, 50.1, 54.01, and 9.01, tax map 162, 12611 Board Station Road, from general single family residential R2, open space mixed use residential overlay R1 OSMR. The 131.25 acres, OBO Homestead Land Holdings applicant.
Okay, this is Mark Shipley again. This is a very large tract in the southwest part of the town. It actually contains 4 parcels currently. It's currently zoned general single family residential R2, which basically requires a minimum lot size of 15,000 square feet. And what they're requesting is R1 OSMR, that's open space mixed residential. That's a development that is based on a density of 1 lot per 20,000 square feet. So it's a little bit less dense than what it's currently zoned. OSMR allows for a mixture of attached and detached in that zoning district, and it has a requirement for a minimum of 35% open space over the entire development. The current R2 zoning only has a 10% open space requirement, so that's some of the differences between the two. We kind of reviewed this last month and some background on the property and its characteristics. When this was presented to the Planning Commission for their recommendation to the board in January, they did feel that given the size of the property and the kind of physical considerations in certain portions of the property, that the OSMR was a good zoning district for this property. However, they did have a concern about just an open-ended rezoning to OSMR, and so they recommended placing a couple of conditions associated with the rezoning. One is that you can't have more than 100 attached dwelling units on the property. basically the property would render a density right now of 286 lots. So that's, around a third of the lots could be attached. Then they had a second condition that prior to second reading, the 4 lots would be combined in a plat, because in the OSMR, there's a minimum 5-acre lot size. So, and there's a couple of parcels, 2 of the 4 that are associated with the property that are actually less than 5 acres. So that was the conditions that the Planning Commission placed on the rezoning. Again, the reason for the attached, going with the attached, is to provide for greater housing choice, and which is consistent with our land use plan, and to kind of provide for a little bit more of a unique layout, and to give it a little bit more diversity and variety, since it is such a large piece of property. When this was presented to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen first reading a couple of weeks ago, the board agreed with the Planning Commission that the OSMR was an appropriate zoning district, and it ultimately agreed with the condition of having no more than 100 of the lots in attached single family. There was a concern expressed that given the size of the property, prior to second reading, combining the properties in a plat would be very difficult. So the board kind of revisited that condition. Basically, the effect of the condition as recommended by the Planning Commission would be the same, but instead of tying the plat that would combine the 4 lots to the second reading, basically the board recommended that the rezoning would not become effective until the 4 lots were combined with the plat that would be signed off on by the Secretary of the Planning Commission. With that, I had a conversation with the town attorney about the condition that the board stipulated on the plat being combined, and he was comfortable with basically the rezoning not taking effect until the plat is approved and recorded. With that, the staff would recommend approval of ordinance 21-04 on second reading, subject to the condition of no more than 100 of the total lots being attached, and then also the rezoning not becoming effective until a plat combining the 4 lots is approved by the town and then recorded at the registry of deeds. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions if anyone has any.
This is Alderman Pollen. I'm going to move to approve on second reading.
Alderman Myers, second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see, do we have any citizens' questions or comments to be read into the record?
No, sir.
None? Okay. Okay. Let's see, we'll go with the next will be we'll start with a question and presentation by the applicant if he has something to speak of. Mr. Rackley.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Russ Rackley. We have nothing further to add. We appreciate the cooperation with the town staff and the board and getting to this point, and we look forward to moving forward with what will be, we hope, a magnificent development in this sector of the town of Farragut. Thank you.
Okay, stand by then for questions from the alderman if needed. Okay, we'll start out with Alderman Burnett.
Thank you, Mayor. I think at this time I don't have any further questions.
Okay. Alderman Pinchot.
I have no further questions.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Hey, Vice Mayor Pavlin.
I don't have any questions of Russ, but I know we've talked about this and we talked about it briefly at the retreat. I think that there's agreement on the board that we need to amend OSMR to include the requirement of a preliminary concept plan. And I'm just wondering if that's something that can come to the Planning Commission in the near future.
So noted. I think we can go ahead and make a note with David to get that on the next Planning Commission agenda.
Yeah, I can get that on for at least a workshop discussion to get the full Planning Commission's thoughts on that. And we could do that in March, for sure.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you.
That'd be great. And that was the only thing that I had as well.
Hey, Mayor, this is Burnett. Could I add a question?
Oh, sure.
So I know currently we don't ask for that site plan, and they provided a site plan. I guess what my question is, if they go out, well, it wouldn't apply now because they technically didn't have to do a site plan. But in the future, if they had a site plan, and then they went out and cleared the land and found, big sinkholes in some of the major areas where they planned roads, would they have to bring back a preliminary site plan to us, or would that just go to Planning Commission, and then would it even come to us?
Well, if it's part of your rezoning, then it would ultimately come to the legislative body, which would be you all. So it really is dependent on how we craft it. It is a little challenging at a concept level, and Russ could certainly, I'm sure, would agree with this. When you're presenting a concept plan, I mean, you kind of have a general idea of what you think is going to likely work, but a lot of times you don't want to invest in the really detailed information that you would have with the preliminary plat if you don't know for sure that the property's going to be rezoned to be able to do what you want to do. So it's a little bit tricky. I think the value of having a concept plan for this kind of zoning district, I guess, is to establish a general, I guess, intent from the developer, and basically capture the breakdown of attached versus detached in particular, with the understanding that placement may vary somewhat depending on what's found when they start doing the more detailed analysis with the preliminary plat. But in general, the number of units that they showed as attached versus detached on the concept plan would not vary. That might be a way to address it. That way you kind of have an understanding of what the breakdown would be, but there could be some minor adjustments to placement and road configurations and things like that, depending on what they find when they do the more detailed engineering work with preliminary.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Okay, that's a good question. Well, with no other questions, then I guess we can go ahead and go into a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Alderman Pinchuk, yes.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the let the record show that the ordinance 21-04 has been approved on the second reading.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Rackley. Next ordinance will be on the first reading, be ordinance 21-05, ordinance to amend the capital investment program for the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget, passed by ordinance 20-07.
Yes, sir. The capital improvement program will be amended by increasing the appropriate expenditures from $1.2 million to $14.4 million. The expenditures of approximately $13.1 million have been budgeted in the previous year's fiscal year budgets. Contract and expenses for the projects below have been incurred in the fiscal year 2021 budget, or in the cycle. So the previous budget expenditures must be transferred from previous budget years to the current budget. And then I have a listing of those detailed, over here to them, those detailed projects. The only expenditure tonight that has not been budgeted in previous budgets is $25,000 for the development of the planning report, the agreement with Knox County Planning Commission that you approved earlier. And so that will be the only additional money is needed. All the others have been budgeted in previous fiscal years. So your motion is to approve ordinance 21-05 on first reading.
This is Alderman Pavlin, move to approve.
Alderman Burnett, I'll second.
Okay, thank you. We're now ready for any citizens' comments or questions, please.
No, sir.
No, okay, thank you. Discussion, we'll start off with Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, pass.
Okay. Vice Mayor Pavlin.
Yes, if all of you could say a special prayer that this is the last time that we have to transfer any money for Union Road engineering right away and it actually gets done in this fiscal year, that would be wonderful.
Sure.
Well, it's actually a good thing because it means we're spending money on it.
Sure.
That's progress.
I'm going to go with that, Allison.
Allison, are we earning any interest on this? I guess because it's sitting.
Yes, sir. All of our monies are either in our checking account, kind of our savings account locally here in town, or they're with the LP through the state of Tennessee. The majority of them are with the state.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, I have no questions or comments.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, I don't have any comments or questions.
Mayor Williams has none as well. And at that point, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pavlin.
Alderman Pavlin, yes.
Alderman Pinchot.
Alderman Pinchot, yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Alderman Burnett, yes.
Alderman Meyer.
Alderman Meyer, yes.
And Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that the amendment has been approved on the first reading. Okay, next will be the town administrator's report. David.
Mayor, thank you. I just have one thing tonight to make sure the board puts on your calendar, and that's for next Wednesday, March 3rd at 4 p.m. We're going to have a WebEx workshop with Ellen Zaviska talking about pedestrian safety and a lot about the Kingston Pike, Campbell Station corridor for that area, and give us some ideas and thoughts on what we can do there. So just again, we'll have that for the Planning Commission, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, but also tape it so that any of the other members that can't make that meeting can certainly watch it in the future. So with that, that's all I have to report, unless there's any questions for me tonight.
Hey, David, that meeting next Wednesday, is that going to be recorded? I've got a conflict that I think I'm going to miss.
Yes, sir, it will. It'll be recorded and it'll be on the town's YouTube channel. So you'll be able to go to the YouTube channel for the town and watch it anytime. You have time to do that.
And what time is it? Is it live? March 3rd?
It's March 3rd at 4 p.m., Mayor.
4 p.m.? Okay, thank you. Okay, and that's all you had. So, is Tom on the call tonight?
He is not on tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anything in Citizens Forum?
No, sir.
No Citizens Forum, okay. Without objection then, February 25th, 2021 Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting has now been complete and adjourned at 8:04 p.m. Thank you all.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.